Recording in progress.
Next topic it is sequence. Today we are going to discuss about the sequence. What the use of sequence, from where we need to use the sequence. What is the main purpose? Now here, what the sequence is one of the database objects. Sequence is also one of the database objects. Now you can tell me, can anyone tell me how many database objects are present? Already we have discussed. What are the database objects? Can anyone tell me what are the database objects? Now, can anyone tell me what are the database objects? Can anyone knows or not? Arshia, Ashok, Bhavana, Farooq. What is the database object? What are all the database objects? How many we have covered as of now? From where can you hear the word or not as of now? Database objects. Which command it can support if you are able to create any database objects into the system? Which command it can be support?
Tables, queries.
All and objects.
What it is? Table.
Tables.
Table is one of the database object or not?
Yes.
Correct or not? Now,
Queries.
the same way here also, sequence is also one of the database object only. Clear? Sequence is also one of the database object. Sequence is also one of the database object only. Sequence. Now, now here, why do we want to go for the sequence? What is the purpose? If you are able to create the sequence in your system, it can generate the numbers automatically. All of you clear? What is the purpose of sequence? If you are able to create the sequence in particular column of your table, it can generate the numbers automatically only. That is the purpose of sequence only. Why will go for the sequence? For example, any one of the column it is there. Any student table it is there. In the student table, roll number it is there, or roll ID. Roll number it is there here. For example, how we can able to store the roll numbers? Now we can write the insert command by using manually only. Correct or not? We can insert the student numbers as a manually only. Correct or not? How we can insert normally? Insert into table name, student table, values. Like that you can give it here. Like that you can give it 1, A. For example, 2 columns are there in your table. How we can insert the data into our table? This is the way we need to insert. For example, I can insert the second row. Again, you can write the, now in your college is having very less students, then it's good. Okay, you can enter the values manually only. In your college or universities, it is having more number of students. This manual, it won't applicable. I want to insert the values dynamically only. Then we'll go for the sequence. Clear up to this? For the use of sequence, sequence is one of the database object. It can generate the numbers automatically only. What is the next point? It can generate the numbers automatically while creation of table in that particular column. It can generate the numbers automatically. This is the purpose of sequence. Sequence is one of the database object. Okay. Now it can generate the numbers automatically only. But if you're able to create the sequence in your system, two pseudo columns will be required. What is the use of pseudo column? What is the use of pseudo column? 1 minute. What the use of pseudo column? Pseudo column also it can be act as a normal column only. Pseudo column also it can be act as a normal column, but it won't store any table. All of you clear? What is the definition of pseudo column? Pseudo column also it can be act as a column only, but it won't store any table. Now, what are all the pseudo columns available in your system? Then I can tell you. 1 minute. Now, how many pseudo columns are there? Already we have discussed few things. User is a pseudo column. One more is the sysdate. Sysdate is also one of the pseudo column. Systimestamp. This is also one of the pseudo column. Already we have discussed in the previous classes. User means what is the use of user? Which user are you able to log in your system? That is the use of this user. Sysdate. What is the date? Current date. That is the you have to use this function. Next one, what is the pseudo column? Systimestamp. System time always it can display the time along with milliseconds only. All these three we have covered in the previous classes. Now next one, what is the pseudo column? Curve value. And next one is the next value. These two are the pseudo columns we'll use in the sequence only. Okay. Pseudo columns, there are different types. Others also it is there. Next one, row num it is there. Next one is the row ID it is there. These are all called as a pseudo columns only. And one more level also it is there. These are all called as a pseudo columns only. Now we'll focus on these two for today. Later I can explain for these three are is having one or two classes will be required. Later I can explain. First we need to focus on these two. Curve value and next value. What the use of curve value? Curve value always it can display the current sequence number only. What the use of curve value? It can provide the current sequence number only. It can provide the current sequence number only. Next one, what is next value? It can generate the next value. What is the next value? It can generate the next value. Next sequence value, like that. These are called as a pseudo columns only. For these two pseudo columns will be applicable for the sequence only, not for any others. Just remember these two. Curve value and next value pseudo columns, it can be applicable for the sequence only. Okay. How we can able to access the pseudo columns by using sequence? This is the syntax we need to follow. How we can able to access the pseudo column? How we can able to access the pseudo columns? This is the syntax only. Sequence name dot pseudo column name. Just the syntax we need to follow. How we can able to access the pseudo columns? Sequence name dot pseudo column name. This is the one syntax one. For example, in your sequence is having sequence name like this. For example, sequence name like this. S1. For example, what is our sequence name? S1. How we can able to call it S1 dot sequence name is nothing but a S1 dot. What are the pseudo column names? Curve value or next value. Anything we need to give as per the requirement only. For example, I can give the S1 dot next value. This is also possible. One more word is S1 dot curve value. This is also possible depending on your requirement. How we can able to access the pseudo column? Sequence name dot pseudo column name. What is our sequence? Still we cannot generate the sequence. Later I can show it based on the syntaxes only. Sequence name nothing but any name you need to give it here. Currently what I have given the sequence name S1 only. S1 only. Okay. Sequence name. Sequence name S1. How we can able to call this? Sequence name dot pseudo column. This is the way we need to call it. Clear up to this? Pseudo column is nothing but a your table column only, but it won't store any table. Pseudo column, it can be act as a table column, but it won't store any table only. Now here, now you can check it. Select star from EMP. If these two columns are present in the table, curve value and next value it is there. Is it present in this table? Curve value and next value, it can be act as a columns only, but it won't store any table. These are the predefined pseudo columns. These columns are provided by Oracle only, not for ours, not for users or not for developers. This is the use of pseudo column. Next, what is the syntax of sequence? Now, what is the syntax of sequence? Create sequence, sequence name. Next one, start with 1 or increment by. Later I can explain one by one. Increment by 1. Just I can give this value. Not this. Start with n like this syntax. It is there. Start with n. increment by n. 1 minute, I can copy the syntax, everything. I don't want write each and every line. Just I can copy these points also. Now you can able to understand. This is the syntax only. Now go here. Now here, for the syntax, create is a command. Why we want to go for create? Create is a, why do we need to use the create command? Can anyone tell me what is the purpose of create command?
To create a table.
To create a new table.
Any new database objects into the system. Any new database objects into the system, then we'll go for the create command. What are the new database objects in your system? What are all the things? Table, sequence, synonym, view, index. These are all called as a database objects only. If you're able to use these objects into our system, this command, it can be support. Create command only. Or replace is the optional. If you're able to use this, then no problem. Without writing this also, square bracket it is there. It is optional things only. Next, what it is there? Create, sequence. Now, up to this mandatory only. What is the mandatory syntax? This is the mandatory syntax only. The others all are optional only. Now, why? Because optional, all are in square brackets. Correct or not? All the options are in square brackets. This is called as a optional things only. What is the mandatory syntax? Create, sequence name. This is enough. If you are able to create any sequence in your system, what is the mandatory syntax? Create, sequence name only. The other all are optional. If you are able to use, then you can use it. If you are not able to use, you can leave it. This is the mandatory syntax only. Now, up to this clarity, create, sequence name only. Next, these are all called as options. What is the option for the start with value? What is the meaning of the start with? From where you need to start the sequence. The sequence number, you can start with 1. You can give it start with 1 only. Your sequence number start with 10. You can give it start with 10 only. You can your sequence start with 1000. Start with 1000. You can give the values like that. Okay. Next one, what is increment by value? For example, now the sequence start with 1 you have given in the syntax. For example, start with 1 you have given. Next value, what you want to print? Are you able to print the next value? It is a 2, 3. Okay. Now, what is my requirement? Start with 1. After that, I want to increment the 2 values for my starting sequence. Next value, what it will come? Next value, what it will come? Now, currently, this start with 1. Increment by, if you are able to give 2, what value it will come? Your sequence value 3 only. Like this, if you are able to print the outputs like this, start with 1, increment by 2, you want to give it here. For example, my output like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm able to see this number, sequential number, I want to be able to see my output. Then you can give it start with 1, increment by 1 only. Clear up to this? Increment by 1 means every value it should be incremented by 1 only. Every value it should be incremented by 1. For example, if you are able to give the increment by 5, start with 1. The value it should be incremented by 5, each and every value. First 1 will be printed, next 6 will be printed, next 11 will be printed. Like that, it can be printed only. Clear up to this? Increment by, if you are able to give the increment by 1, for example, here I can give it like this value. Increment by 1, you can give the values this low value to high value, it can be printed. Just remember this. If you are able to give the positive value, what the output it can print? Low to high value only. This is the ascending order only. Low to high value means if you are able to give the increment by -1, same, just I can give it as a +1 or -1. If you are able to give the +1, what value it is printing? Low to high value, ascending order data it is printing. If you are able to give the -1, what the value it is printing? High to low. This is a descending order, it can be printing your output. Clear up to this, all of you? Increment by 1 means every value it should be incremented by 1. Positive values. If you are able to give the increment by -1, highest value, decrement by 1 value only. This is called as a increment by 1 and Decrement by 1. Next one, what it is? Min value. Min value. Min value always, it can start with 1 only. Default value, what it is? If you don't give any value here, by default system, what the value it can consider? 1 only. Minimum value always 1 here. Based on the your requirement only, start with something like that, you can give it here. Minimum value 1. Maximum value means how many values you need to print in your output. For example, as per your requirement in your table, you are able to store the 1000 values only. What is the minimum value here? Minimum value is 1. Maximum value, what it is? 1000 only. If you are able to store the only 1000 values in your table, what is the maximum value you can consider? 1000 only. Now, for example, I don't want to give this max value. By default, without giving these options, I don't want to give the max value here. By default, system, it can consider this value only, 10 power 27 only. If you don't give the max value, up to this, you can write the syntax, create sequence name, without giving all these options. What is the max value? By default system, it can take it as a 10 power 27 only. 10 power 27 values, it can consider by your system. Now, I don't want to print all the values. Unnecessarily, I don't want to waste my memory. Then I can give whatever the requirement it is there. That many values I need to store my table, then we'll go for the syntax only. You can use these optional values only. If you want to print, if you don't know the count, then we'll go for the syntax. Then you can go for the syntax. Count, we don't know. How many values are coming from in your output, we don't know. Then we'll go for the syntax. Now, as per your requirement, you can store 1 lakh values or 2 lakhs values. Then you can go optional values only. Anything you can write it here. Max value also you can write like this. If you don't like this, up to this syntax is enough. I can show you the example, then only you can able to understand. Okay, minimum value and max value. Next one, what it is there here? Minimum value, max value, it is there. No cycle and caching. What the use of no cycle? After maximum limit is reaching, for example, if you are able to store the 1000 values in your system. Now, if you are able to use this option, no cycle, if you are able to insert or if you are able to insert the 1000 value into that particular column in table, immediately the system, it can throw the error. Why? Because you can use it as a no cycle option here. Why it can throw the error by your system? You can use it as a no cycle option only. What the use of no cycle option? When the maximum limit is reaching, okay, after you can insert any value after the maximum limit, you can insert any value, immediately the system, it can throw the error. That is called as a no cycle option only. Now, what is the use of cycle? What the use of cycle? Once the maximum limit is reaching in our system, again, one cycle is over, it can go for your min value only. When the maximum limit is reaching, when the 1000 values are printed by your system, if you are able to write the no cycle, it cannot insert the under values. Simply it can throw the error. In the syntax, if you can use the cycle option, after maximum limit is reaching, it won't stop. One cycle is over, again it can go to minimum value 1 onwards, it can print. Again, next time how many values will be printing? Again 1000 values will be printing. Second cycle it is over, again it can start with minimum value. Like that it can print this cycle only. Clear up to this, all of you? What the use of start with always where the sequence will start. The sequence number start with 1, you can write it as a start with 1 only. Your sequence start with 10 onwards, start with 10. Your sequence start with 100, start with 100, like that you can give it here. Increment by value. +1 you want to give it here, it can increment each and every value. It can print the low to high values only. Ascending order, it can print it, increment by positive. If you're able to give the increment by minus, descending order output, it can be printed. High to low values only. Minimum value always, it can print the 1 only or anything based on the outputs only. Maximum value, what it is? Max value. If what the maximum value you have given, that values only it can store into your table. After this no cycle, and what is the cycle? No cycle means after the maximum limit is reaching, it cannot allow to next value. So if you are able to write the cycle, when the maximum limit is reaching, now next what it is, it can go to minimum value. For this value onwards, again the values it can be stored. That is called as a cycle. Next one, what it is? No cache and cache. No cache and cache. What is the meaning of this cache? Cache means every time, what are the sequence values we have given here? minimum value like this. For example, cash, if I'm going to give it as a maximum value cash, it is 20, minimum it is 2. Minimum what value you have given? Cash 2 only, maximum how many? 20 only. Every time if you are able to write this cash here, syntax you can use this. Every time the system, the values will not go for database, whatever the values coming from database and store into this memory. For the next time onwards, you can pick the values from cache, not for database. That's the reason we can use it. If you're able to write the cache performance wise, the system it is good. That's the reason we can use it as a cache only. Clear up to this? These are all the options we need to use it in our examples only. Now, what is the mandatory syntax? What is the syntax? This create sequence name only. The others all are called as optional. First, I can create the sequence only. Just you can see it. Or we can create the sequence mandatory. What is the base table for this after creation of syntax sequence? What is the base table? What is the base table of this? Sequence. What is the base table? User underscore sequences. This is the base table only. Next one more. What is all underscore sequences? This is the base tables. Any type of database objects. Any type of database objects, we need to find out what is the base table. DBA underscore objects, all underscore objects, any type of database objects for this. This is only for sequence. This is only for sequence. This is the base table, sir. Sequences. Now for these two tables, any type of database objects. This one. Okay. Now I am going to create the one sequence. Clear up to this, all of you. What the use of sequence? Sequence is a database objects. It can generate the numbers automatically in that particular table column only. That is the definition of sequence. Just go through these points, then only can be able to understand. Sequence is a database objects which is stored in the database server, and it is used to generate the sequence of numbers automatically. Sequence of a number, particular column of a table automatically only. This is the major point. Okay. It can be either ascending or descending order. The sequence data, it should be printing either ascending or descending. Why? Because you can use the option increment by positive value or increment by negative value. If you're able to write the increment by positive value, it can print the low to high values only. And next one, what it is not related to any table. Sequence, it cannot store any table. This is the not related to any table sequence. Next one, sequence will start generating values from its minimum value only. I can show it the example, then only you can able to understand for all the things. Now I'm going to create the one. What is the mandatory syntax? This is the syntax only. Just you can see it here. Create sequence name. Correct or not? This is the mandatory syntax of sequence. Okay. Now here I can write it. Create. Just you can see it here. Create sequence name. Sequence. Just I can give it as a test underscore S1. What is my name? What is my sequence name? Test underscore S1 I have given here. Now I'm going to execute this query. Now what the message it can be generated here? What the message it can be printed here? Sequence created only. After creation of sequence, how we can able to find out whether the sequence is created into a database or not? How I can able to find out what is the base table? For sequence, what is the base table? Select star from user underscore sequences. So if you are able to see the only sequences, this is the base table. Now just run this query. Now here one column it is there. One column it is there, sequence name, take that sequence name only, that column name, where, what I am going to do, where sequence name equal to, just what is our sequence name, just what we have created, take that name only. Just run this query, it can give all the options are there, it is here. Now you can see it here. Sequence name, test underscore S1. Minimum value, what it is, without giving these optional values. So just now what we have discussed. Minimum value, max value, increment by cache, no cache, everything it is present. What is the minimum value? Without giving this. Without giving this also, I don't want to give any optional things here. Create sequence mandatory. By default, what the value it can be taken by your system, minimum value, what it is? What the minimum value the system it is taking?
1.
1 only. What is this maximum value? Just now what I have explained. Maximum value is what it is? 10 power
10 power
27.
of 27.
10 power 27. That value automatically it can take by your system or not without giving also. Is it taking your system or not? This one. Increment by what value it can take, positive or negative? By
Positive.
default, what value it can take the system? Positive values only. What is this? Cycle. Cycle means N means no cycle. No cycle. Order means no order. Cache, what is the maximum cache it can take it here?
20.
20. By default, the system it can take all the values only. Clear up to this? This is the way we need to find out. Without giving any values, how we can now next one, this is called as a now one more table, how we can able to find out select star from any type of database object. This is also we need to find out select star from DBA underscore objects. Just run this query where what is that object name? Just I can take it as the object name. What is our object name? Object name is nothing but our sequence name only. What is our sequence name? Take that sequence. This is the way we need to find out this table. Just run this query. Now we can get it or not. Test underscore sequence. Here the values are all are not present here. Just everything it is not present. Only this sequence table only you can able to see all the optional things only. Clear up to this? Next, now the sequence is ready. Now the sequence is ready. How we can able to see how it can work sequence? How we can call the sequence? Already I told you. How we can call the sequence? What is the syntax? After creation of sequence, how we can call that sequence? What is the syntax? Sequence name dot sequence name dot pseudo column name. Correct or not? What is our sequence name? What is our sequence name? Test underscore S1 dot next value. What is the pseudo column name? So what the use of this next value? It can generate the next value only. It can generate the next value. This is the purpose of pseudo columns. Okay. Next one, what it is? Test underscore S1 dot cur value. What is the use of this? It can display the current sequence number only. Cur value. It can display the current sequence. How we can call the sequence in the select query? How we can call this sequence in the select query? How we can write it here? Select, just you can see this select. Sequence name dot pseudo column. What is the sequence name? Just I can write this. Test underscore S1 dot next value. Just from dual. This is the dual table. We can call it here. Currently, we don't use this any table in this syntax. Table level, I can show it later. Just you can see this. What the value it can print? What it is? Can we create the sequence or not? Just now we created only, correct? This one only. Taken. It is not coming. Sorry. Value spelling graph. Next to that. Now you can see this. What the value is generating? Automatically one it can. Next, what value it will come? Start with what value? What is the sequence number? Start with 1 only. Next value, what will come?
2.
Increment by what value it is there in the syntax? 1 only, correct? Every value it should be incremented by 1. Just you can see this. Now after run this query, what value it can print? 2 only. Next, what value it is coming? 3 only. Next, what value it is coming? 4 only. Now after this, we don't know the what is the sequence number? We don't know. What is the position of your sequence? We don't know. If we forget that, how we can find out what is the position of, what is the current position of your sequence? Then for that scenario, what we are going to do? Just you can write it as a cur value from this table only. If you don't know the current sequence number, how we can able to find out? Here we can write as a cur value. Next value, what it is? It can generate the next value. Each and everything, each and every row, it can be added by 1. Why? Because why it can be added 1? Automatically the system it can be incremented by 1 in the while creation of syntax only. Now here, what is the current position of your sequence? Then you can able to find. What is the current position of your sequence? 5 only. This is the way we need to find out. Clear up to this, all of you? Now, how we can able to access the pseudo columns by using sequence? This is the way we need to follow. Now, next, I'm going to create the one table. This is the dual dummy table. Now, I'm going to create our own tables. How we can do that? First, normally, I'm going to create one dummy table. Just you can see this. Create 2 columns only. I can take it here. Test underscore dummy underscore sequence. This is my RS1. Dummy underscore S1. Just normal table only. Now, here I can take it as a student number. Next, student name, varchar2, I can take it here. Okay. 2 columns I'm going to create. This is a normal table. I'm going to insert the values manually only. Okay. How we can insert the values in our table? Insert into, what is our table name? This one. Okay. Values, just you can see it here. 1 comma a. Is this value is inserted into our table or not? Perfectly inserted. Now I'm going to insert the second row. Just observe here. This is the normal. Manually, you are able to insert each and every student data into a table. This is the manual things only. Now here, insert only. Now here, I'm going to insert the third record. C. Okay. Inserted. Next, I'm going to insert the one more record. 4. D. Okay. This is also inserted. I can insert the 5th record. Now, I can insert the same record into a table. Is it able to insert or not? Now you can tell me. Manually, by entering this value as a, by mistakenly, you can enter this value into a table. If this value is stored into a table or not? Now you can tell me. If this value is stored into a table or not? Now here, I'm going to apply the commit. Just you can see this. Go to your table. Select star from. Select star from. What is your table name? This table name only. Just you can see the data. Now here, while inserting the data into a table, first row to 5th row, is the duplicate data or not?
Yes.
It is, for sometimes is it possible or not? If you're able to insert the data into manually into that particular table of this column, student number column, the sequence always it should be applicable for the number data types only. Just remember this point also. The sequence always it should be applicable for the number data types only. Now, if you're able to insert the data is manually, the value should be duplicates it is coming. For example, I can insert the null into this table also. Is it possible or not? Now I'm going to insert the data like this, null. Is it possible or not? Null also. Now student number, is it null? As per our tables, is it possible? Is it possible null student number? This is also not possible. Sometimes manually, if you are able to insert the data, this is a difficult thing only in the developers. Now, how we can able to store the numbers dynamically for this column? How we can able to store the values dynamically for this column? Then we'll go for the sequence. Clear up to this, all of you? What the purpose of sequence? If you're able to create the sequence in this particular column, it can generate the numbers automatically only. That's the reason we can create the sequence. Now I'm going to create one sequence. Now we can see this. Create. Just create sequence. Sequence name I'm going to give it as a test underscore S2. This is my sequence. Okay, without giving any options. Still, I don't use any options also. Okay. Now, what is the syntax? Create sequence name only. Just I can use that option. Sequence is created. Now I'm going to create the one more table for this testing purpose. Just you can see normal table and after creation of sequence. Just I'm going to create the one more table here. Just I am going to give it as a S2. What is my table name? S2. Okay. Just I am going to create the table. How we can insert the data into a table? By using sequence. Insert, just you can see this, into table name, insert into table name, values. Now here, I cannot give the values manually here. In the previous, what we have done, In the previous scenario, what we have done, we can give the values manually into this column. Correct or not? Now, current this table, I don't want to give the values manually. I can use the sequence here. What is the sequence? What is the sequence? How we can call the sequence? Now you can tell me what the sequence. How can I able to access the sequence? Pseudo column name, sequence name dot pseudo column. What is our sequence name? Test underscore
Test
S2. S2 is our sequence. Just now we have created a new sequence, correct or not, for testing purpose. What is our pseudo column name? Next value. Just you can use this in your insert script also. Just take this value and pass it here, comma. Just I don't want to give any value manually here, correct or not? These names you can give it manually, no problem. Student names you can give it as manually. Now run this query. One row is inserted. Now just I am going to insert the second row also. Just I can change the names only. B. Perfectly, it's working. Just you can see this. Next one, what it is, I am going to give it as a C. Okay. Next one, I am going to give it as a D. Next, I am going to give just how many rows we are inserted into this table. How many rows we are inserted into this table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I give any numbers into this table while student number column? Now you can tell me. Can I give any values here, student number column? Can I use the sequence or not? All of you understood or not? In the previous, what we have done, in the student number column, we have given the values manually only. You can give the numbers like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 again null. Now in the current table, in that student number column, what we have added here, sequence name dot pseudo column. What it is, it can generate the numbers automatically only. Now go to your table. Just I can apply the commit. Now what is our table name? Just you can see it here. Select star from, what is this table name? Just you can give the table name only. Now you can see the data and check it. Can I give the value sequential numbers? Can I give it in the while inserting the data into a table? Can I give it? Can I give it any sequence numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I don't give the numbers, by using the sequence, it can generate the numbers automatically or not? All of you clear or not? How it can be able to store in the student number column for these values without entering the data also by using the sequence only. What the use of sequence? Sequence, it can generate the numbers automatically in your particular table column only. This is the way we need to insert. Clear up to this, all of you? Any doubts? How we can call the sequence? This is the way we need to use it. Now, currently, I don't want to use any optional syntaxes. Directly, I can write the mandatory syntax. Now, how we can use the optional syntaxes in our system? This is the way we need to follow. Next method. Same, how to insert the data. This is the way we need to follow. Next, what I am going to do, just you can see this. Create table. Just I can create the one more table for testing purpose. Test underscore dummy underscore S3. This is my table. Now here I can give the 2 columns only. Student number. Now here student name varchar 2 of 10. Now here I am going to create the table. Okay. Now just I am going to create the sequence syntax with optional methods. Now in the previous what we have done, what is our sequence name? Just I can give the, just you can see it here. Now I am going to insert the S3. This is my syntax. Now I can use the optional methods only. What are all those? Start with. What is my sequence start with? Always 1 only. Later I can show different method also. 1 only. Next one, what is increment by? Increment by 1. Okay. Next, minimum value. Minimum value. Is it a min value or minimum value for the syntax here? Direct one. Min value. Combined value only. Min value 1. Max value I have taken the 5 only. What does it mean here? Now you can tell me what is the meaning of this? In your sequence, if you are able to create the sequence like this, how many values we need to store into our table? As per the
maximum 5.
Maximum 5 only. What is the minimum value?
1.
1 to 5 values only you can able to store into table, correct or not? If I am able to store the more than 5, is the system will accept? Just you can see it here. Now I'm going to create the sequence. Now I'm going to create the sequence. Okay, sequence is created. Sequence is created. Now here I'm going to insert the data into a table. Insert. Just you can see it. Insert into what is our table name? Just know what we have created. This is our table name only. Insert into table name values. How we can able to access the pseudo column? What is our pseudo? What is the sequence name? Sequence name dot, what we need to write it here in that particular column, next value. This is the how we can able to access the pseudo column. This is the way we need it. Next, you can give it as student name. Yeah, any names you can give it here. Yeah, I can give it here. Now insert the data. Now inserted only. Now I can take it as a second row. Okay, I can give it as a third row. And I can insert the one more row. How many values I inserted up to now? How many values we are inserted? Just I can give it as one more row. How many values we are inserted into a table? Up to this. Total how many rows we are inserted into this table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if I am able to insert the sixth record, is it able to allow by your system?
No, not
Just you can see this. I am able to insert the sixth record. Now just I can apply the, just you can see the data. Before seeing the data, just I can insert the one more record here. Okay, I can insert the one more record here. I can insert the one more record. Is it able to allow by your system? Just you can see this. What the error message will come here? Maximum value. What is exceeds maximum value and cannot be intransiated. What does it mean here? What is the max? While creation of sequence, what is the max value here given? While creation of sequence, what is the max value?
5.
5 only. If I am able to insert the after 5, is it able to allow by your system?
No cycle.
Immediately it can throw the error or not? Clear up to this, all of you. What it is? This is called as a no cycle only. No cycle means what is the purpose of no cycle? If you are able to write the no cycle, then no problem. Without writing this also, no problem. If you are able to write the syntax also, no cycle. After maximum value limit is reaching, if you are able, after the fifth value, you can insert into a table. Is it allowed by your system? Simply it can throw the error. Clear up to this, all of you. This is called as a no cycle only. Now, any doubts as of now? For this, next, I'm going to insert the one more table with cycle. Just what we have explained, all the points we need to cover. Next one, what it is? Just you can check the data. How many values are we are stored into this table? Select star from what is our table name? Take the table name only. How many values we are stored into this table as of now? Only 5 only. Can I store the sixth record into this table? No. It can throw the error. Why? Because up to maximum limit is reaching, it won't insert any other values. That's the reason up to this maximum, no cycle. This is called as a no cycle only. Next, I am going to insert the one more value with cycle. Just what is the use of cycle? Now you can see that. Now I'm going to create the one more table. Now here I'm going to give it as a table S4. Now create the table sequence also. I'm going to create this 4. Now here I'm going to apply the cycle. What the use of cycle? Just now what I explained, cycle. When the maximum limit is reaching, it won't stop it. Again, it will go to minimum value. What is the minimum value here? As per our while creation of syntax, what is the minimum value? 1 only. When the maximum limit is reaching, again it will go to 1 only. Just you can see this cycle. If you give the cycle, compulsory you can give the cache only. If you are able to use the cycle, compulsory we need to give the cache. Cache means what we have explained. Every time it won't go for database. First cache, it can get the values from database and store into temporary memory. Next time onwards, you cannot go for database. Just you can pick the values from cache only. That's the reason we can use it cache. Now here I'm going to create the sequence. Okay. Now table is created. Okay, what is our table name? This is our table name. Just you can insert the data into a table. Just I can change the table names and sequence name also. Okay. Now here I can give it as a S4. No, oh, sorry. Table name it is okay. Sorry. Sequence name it is okay. Table name it should be different. What is the table name? This one. Now I can insert the data. Just observe here. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also I'm going to give this. I can change the sequence name also here one by one. What is our sequence name? Test underscore S4. 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 Now here S4 also. Now we can see the data. Now I'm going to insert the records into a table. Now here first value I'm going to insert. Perfectly inserted. Second record is inserted. Third record is inserted. Fourth record is inserted. Fifth record is inserted. Now you can tell me, can I able to insert the sixth record? Is it possible or not? Now
Possible.
can anyone tell me, is it possible or not?
Possible.
Possible. What value it can print?
Second cycle starts with 1.
Second cycle, one cycle it is over. What is the maximum value while creation of sequence? What is the maximum value we given?
5.
5 only. Now, if you are able to give the cycle, when the maximum limit is reaching, it can go to next cycle value. Next cycle always will start with min value only. What is the minimum value while creation of sequence? 1 only. Correct or not? Now, in the just you can see this, how many values are there in this table as of now? As of now, how many values are there? 5 values. Now, in the previous, this value it can work. Just you can see this. Sixth value it can work. Simply it can throw the error by our system. Now, I'm going to insert the same record into this table. Is it work or not? Just you can see this. Perfectly it's working. Go to your table. What is the value it can print? It can start the second cycle. This is the second cycle. Up to how many values you can insert next time? How many values we need to insert? Again.
5.
5 only. After 5 value it is reaching. If you are able to insert, the 11th value, again it can go to third cycle. Start with minimum value only. This is the way we need to write it. Clear up to this, all of you? All of you clear for this cycle and no cycle? Start with minimum value, max value, everything it is covered or not? Cache. Now clear up to this. How we can store the values into a table? This is the way we need to store the data into our tables only. Now I'm going to create the one more. Just you can see that. One more I'm going to create a sequence for understanding purpose. One more I'm going to create here. Just you can see it here. Just I can change the increment value here. Can anyone tell me the answers? What the value it can able to store? Now I'm going to create the one more table 5. Okay. Now here I'm going to change the sequence name here 5. Sequence name S5. Minimum value with start with increment by 2. Okay. Minimum value it is 1 and can take it as a 10 only. What the max value I have taken here? 10 only. Now here I am going to take it as a, I don't want to take the cycle and cache. Here I can take it as a no cycle only. What I have taken? No cycle only. Now I am going to create the sequence. Without giving this also no problem. Just I am going to create the sequence. Sequence is created. Table is created. What is our sequence? How we can able to access the sequence? Sequence name dot pseudo column name. Table name S5. Okay. Sequence name also S5. Now, how the values it can be generated into a sequence table student number column? Can anyone guess it and tell me the answer? What the sequence numbers it can be generated by your system? Or start with what value it is there?
1.
1. Next increment by what value you have given?
2.
What the output it is coming?
3.
First one value it is printing. Later what value? What is the next value it will come?
3.
3. Next what value it will come?
5.
Next value?
7.
What next?
9.
Next
11.
It won't possible 11. Already we have used the no cycle. Correct or not? It won't print the next value. Why? Because you can use the no cycle. If you are able to use the cycle, it can go to the minimum value next onwards. Just you can run this value. Now, first value is generated. Second value it is inserted. Third value is inserted. Fourth value is inserted. Fifth value is inserted. Is it possible? No. Correct or not? Is it possible to insert? Simply it can throw the error. Just I can apply the commit and check the data. What the output it is printing sequence values 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 like this. What it is? Oh, sorry. I can use this as a sequence number. I cannot change it. 1 minute. Drop table name. Okay, just I can recreate the table. Here also I can drop the sequence, drop sequence name. Okay, now I'm going to recreate the sequence. Sequence is recreated. Now I can add this sequence. I cannot change it. That's the problem. S5. Now I'm going to insert the records. Is there any changes? No, not. First record, second record, third record, fourth, fifth, sixth record. Simply it can throw the error. Why? Because table argue does not exist. 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Up to that values are inserted. This simply it can throw the error. This error message it can be printed. Why? Because what the value is there in the while creation of sequence, no cycle it is there. That's the reason it can print this error message only. Now check your outputs. What the output is printed? Student number column 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Is it correct or not? Increment by 2. What is the start value? What is the sequence number start? 1 only. After that, what it is you have given? Increment by 2 only. Every value should be incremented by 2 or not? Is it clear up to this? All of you clear for this? This is the way we need to write it. How we can, for this particular column, it can generate the numbers automatically by using sequence only. In the real time, no need to insert any key values manually only. That's the reason we can write the sequence number column, any unique value, any key column values in the table, any student table. What is the key column? Role ID or student ID. In the employee table, what is the key column? Employee number. In the department table, what is the key column? Department number. In the hospital table, what is the key column? Patient ID. Like that. Any tables, key column, what it is that? In that key column, they can assign the sequence values only. This is the way we need to store the sequence values into that particular tables. Clear up to this? All of you clear? Now, one more example I am going to show it here. Now you can tell me the answers. Now here I am going to create the 6th table. Just I am going to create this table. Sequence also I am going to create here. Now can anyone tell me the answer for this? Now start with I have given as 100 only. Increment by 1. Minimum value 1. Now here I can give it as a 105. Okay, all of you clear for this? All of you. Now here I can give it as a cycle only. What the start with value here? Start with value, what it is?
100.
100. Now minimum value what I have given? 1 only. Maximum value what I have given? 105. Just I can go to sequence only. Sequence is created. What is our table name? S6 here. Here also S6 here. S6. S6. Now you can tell me. First, if I am able to insert this record into a table, what the value will print? What the sequence number will print? Huh? Say loudly, what the value it can print?
100.
No. Okay. Just next value what it is? Next value what it is?
105.
Next. Okay. Next. This is also will print. Just I can remove this error. This is also I'm going to insert. Okay. Now, why this
Table
value
name.
is not inserted? Sorry.
Table name.
Not given. S6. Here also I can give it as S6. This way also it can store. This is also next. I am going to insert the next one more value here. Now can anyone tell me what the value it is printing? Now how the output it is printing? Can anyone guess it? First, what value it is printing? First, what value?
100.
Start with 100 only. Next, what value it is coming? 101. Next, what value?
100.
Next, what value? 103. Next, what value? 104. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the maximum side, once the maximum value it is reaching, what it is? If the cycle is over or not? Now, what value it can print after that? 100 or 1?
1.
1 only. What is the minimum value?
1.
That's the reason it can take the minimum value here. Go to this S6, just commit. Now run this table. Is it printed the 1 or not? It cannot go to 100. It cannot go to start with. It can go for minimum value only. This is the way we need to write. Clear up to this, all of you? Any doubts for this sequencer? Now this is all positive only. I can show it as a one negative also. Just you can see it here. I can copy here for all the things negative. 1 minute. Just we can give it as a increment by -1. That's it only. Nothing to do that. Now I can take this table. I don't want to do this sequences. That's the reason I cannot insert everything. Just you can see this. Drop. Okay. Now what it is? What is our table name? What is the sequence? Create sequence sample. First, what is this? Increment by what it is? Increment by. Can I give the negative or positive?
Negative.
Negative. Negative means how the values it is printing top to bottom. Correct or not? Highest to low values only. Now, what is the start with value?
10.
10 only. How many values we need to print total? 10
20.
to 10, 20 minus 10. How many values it can print? 10 only.
10.
Correct or not? Once the maximum limit is reaching 20th value. Now, what it is printing? Decrement values only. Correct or not for this? Decrementing 10. What is the first what value it is printing? 10 only. Next what value it is coming? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, once the maximum limit is reaching, it cannot print another value. Why? Because you can write the no cycle and no cache only. Correct or not? Just I can create the table. Oh, sorry, sequence. Sequence is created. Just I am going to this one we need to require table. We need to do that. First one truncate it is there. I can create the table for this. I can utilize the existing table only. I think this. What is the table name here? Table name also same only 1 minute. I can create the table only. Create table. In the table. Is there any data into our table? As of now, there is no data. Just if it is data is there, just this one, it is not required. Just now you have to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to insert the data. XX underscore sequence. What is the sequence name? Just now what we have created sequence is sample only. First, I have to store the record into a table. Okay. First record, second record, third record, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 10, okay. If I'm able to insert the 11th rekha, simply it can throw the error. Why? Because what is the maximum value you have given? 20. Decrement by 1 every value. Correct or not? Now go to your table. How the values it can print the sequence? It can decrement the value or not? It can decrement the values or not? Clear up to this, all of you? This is the way we need to print it as a negative. Negative, no one will use in the real time. Negative, if you are able to use like this only. Negative, no one will use in the real time. Only we can use it as a positive only. Now you can tell me how we can generate the sequence in the real time. What is the syntax you need to follow? Just you can write the syntax like this. Create. This is the syntax only we need to follow. Create sequence. And this is enough. No need to give all the values. No need to give the optional things. Just you can write the syntax, then it's good. Otherwise, how we can write the sequence if you are able to give all the values? For example, now you can give the sequence like this. Create sequence name like this. For example, just I can give it the same name. I don't give it here. Create sequence S11 or S111 something. This is my sequence. Start with, just you can give like this only. Start with 1. Okay. Increment by 1. Increment by 1. This is the syntax. You need to give it in the real times. Just next, what value? Minimum value 1. Maximum value, how we can give it here? What is the maximum value? What is the syntax? By default, what value you are taken? This is the value you can give it here. If you give like this, if you don't give this optional thing, just you can give like this also. Just you can give it here. Next, what I am going to do? Cycle only. Why? Because once the maximum this limit, it won't reach. It cannot be possible in the real time. This is the maximum limit. It cannot be possible. Any company also, any server, any country also, it won't reach these values. Next, if you, in case, some cases, if you reach this value, if you are able to use the cycle, again, it can go to minimum value. Again, these values will be printing. Cycle. Next one, what it is? Cache 20. This is the sequence. This is the default. This is also, it's enough. This is also enough. Anything we need to write. These two syntaxes we need to write in the real times. Clear up to this? How we can write the sequence? For the purpose of sequence, it can generate the numbers automatically in that particular table column only. We don't give the manual values. So sometimes if you give the manual values, you can give wrong values you need to enter. That's the reason I don't want to see the duplicate data into that particular column. Then you can go for the sequence only. Clear? Any doubts up to now? For the sequence.
Recording stopped.
Anyone is having any doubts?